morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. I'm Sonu Nirotra Kapoor. Well, I say this every morning, and every morning I start my day sharing this lovely cup of coffee with all of you. But this morning was very different. I got to share it with some lovely women. They spoke so much that I had to speak very little. The noise is everywhere. The entire studio is wondering what is happening on the sets of the Breakfast Club. And my God, I've had quite a time just settling them down, feeding them the right coffees and to get this show started. If you're wondering why, well, it is Women's Day. Hello, all you men and women out there. Happy Women's Day, all of you. Very, very nice to share this time with all of you, to share this space with all of you. And what a great time to be a woman. Yeah. I think that's the real theme that I want to drive home. That if there is a time, if there was ever a time to be a woman, it is now. It was ever a country to be a woman, and it is perhaps this. We can do better, of course, but we are sort of making all the right noises. So without any further ado, let me open it up to the panel. I have some very opinionated, very loud, and some women I have to censor on the program, but I will see how that goes along today. So please say hello. Hi guys.
Hi.
In no particular order, let me just start with the image that is keeping me calm this morning, which is Meghna Pant. Meghna Pant is an author of Feminist Rani. If you haven't seen or read that book, please do. Meghna also has a great story behind how she came about to becoming an author, how she became financially independent, and I can't wait for her to share that with all our viewers as well. Joining us next is Malishka. Drum rolls. Okay, so we all know her as India's foremost jockey. It is not about being a woman or not. She's now an actor. She's an entrepreneur. I don't know what all she's doing. She'll talk about it all herself. She gave me a long list of things, but I'll leave it for her to sort of put it out. But I said, why not? Women should own it. You should tell people and you know what is exactly that you want to do. So we'll talk about all of it. Then trying to keep her mouth shut over there is Aditi Mittal, trying very hard. Aditi is not just a stand-up comic and does now and then takes a jab at journalists. It's my time and my sort of way to get back at her, and we'll see how that goes on the program today. She's also a writer. She's also an actor. Thanks so much, Aditi. Looking lovely in those flowers over there. Also with us is Tanvi Ravi Shankar. She is somebody who's not just a body positivity activist. She's somebody who's breaking, the glass ceiling when it comes to modeling, acting, so many other things. So thanks again. So it's for joining us, Tanvi. And also with us online today is Anju Bobby George. She's of course somebody who needs no introduction, but she's an Olympian. She's India long jumper chairperson of the Anju Bobby Sports Foundation as well. Hi, morning Anju. How are you? Really missing you here in the studio. Would have loved to get some sporting action right here. But we'll dip in, and I hope. Great. All right. So we thought a lot about, and I must say that the TVC team, the people you don't see on screen are also largely women, so I'm very proud of that. We've got Sonal on the program, who is a senior producer. We've got Ashra, who works on the program, who's also a producer, who's the one speaking in my ear right now. And lots of lovely men as well. I'm not taking your name today, but all you lovely men contributing to the program. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Okay.
Alright, so we can take over for a big Happy Women's Day to you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Mumbai.
Thank you.
I'm also called Mumbai Ki Rani, so like I would do on the radio, everybody. Give it up for Sonal. She's in. What this city can do. It's going to be lovely, trust me.
I hope so.
Breathe deeply, or not.
Yes.
No, preferably not.
Oh, now that I'm not in Delhi, I can breathe deeply.
Little extra you can do.
Okay, getting the show started and before everybody feels what is happening. Okay, so, we thought a lot about on the program on how to sort of have a conversation on Women's Day. There are so many statistics one can look into. There are so many numbers one can reflect on. But perhaps what women need more than anything else today is being able to tell their own story. And what women need more than anything else, number two, is representation. And the most important thing I think women need today is financial independence. The start and end to a journey of making a woman vocal, making her independent, making her really feel, feel just good about herself and know her contribution truly, is the start and end of it is financial independence, and that is the crux of what this discussion is going to be all about. But let me first start with Malishka. Okay, let me just start with her. I want to go around the table and have a couple of questions. The first one being that at what point in your lives did you all sort of feel like gender for the first time came into play? Like you realized that I'm a woman. Can we just start with that? I just want to understand how that went for everyone.
It doesn't have to be me. Anyone who thought of the story first, it feels like Meghna.
I'm starting with Malishka because she probably from jab se paida hui tab se thinking I'm rock star, man. I'm born. I'm Rani. I'm born this way.
Agreed. Okay. On that note, I can take this conversation. It's really not true. The internal voice is real, sister. वो जो आवाजें करती है ना कि भाई कैसे करोगी क्या करोगी. But having said that, I lost my dad at a very young age, right? So it was a family of 3. It was me, my mum, my sister. So there was no option to imagine like life beyond like bhai aur ye bhai the mard nahi hai. I'll tell you several instances like this. I'm sure all mothers have said like there were times when my mother suddenly would feel that something in the house needed to be fixed and she would say stuff like, you know, I wish there was a man around. Yeah. And I'd be like, Mom, the plumber can do that. Or I remember one, there was a danga fasad time in Mumbai, and we were, my mum and my sister and I were in the house alone because my dad had passed away by then, and it was really scary. I think that was the first time I realized कि हम लड़की हैं, क्योंकि जो दरवाजा है अभी टूट सकता है, बाहर दंगे हो रहे हैं, we can hear some katta shots and all happening. Mumbai, huh? And I was like, wow. You know, anything can happen at this point. Those were times when I first and foremost felt the vulnerability of being a woman. And of course, then stepping out into what they call as a man's world, it happened where I always got told, you have potential. And then you were like, oh, when will this potential be realized? Yeah. Having said that, I think because of the circumstances of what I just told you, I managed to get out in the world and say, nahin, ab jo hai apne ko hi karna hai. Like my dream forever was to buy a house. Home, house. I bought 3 in the city.
And in Bombay, my God.
I used to not say this before, but I'm inspired.
You should.
Because why I pay my taxes, तो क्या कौन ही पीछे पड़ जाएगा? बहुत और मैंने खरीद लिए हैं बहुत यंग उम्र में मैंने अपने 3 घर खरीद लिए but it came out of trauma. So that's what happened. So I feel like yes, please go out there, grab your dreams. This मर्दों की दुनिया thing will keep happening. Do it.
Do and own it. Yeah, absolutely.
But Meghna, you had a very different experience. Like I just want to contrast it to you were telling me before the show on what happened on. So we all know her in her author avatar. But before that, you're a woman, you're a wife, and what happened earlier was kind of tricky. I want to understand what propelled you into saying, "Boss, ab ho gaya. I got to be financially independent because uske bina nahi guzara hai."
Yeah. You know, I was in an abusive marriage 15 years ago, and the guy, NRI, he left me penniless on the road twice over in the US and then again in Dubai.
And you went back.
And I went back because I didn't want the stigma of divorce. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I got divorced, there was still a huge stigma to it. And I was told by many women who now claim to be feminists, by the way, that thappad to hota rehta hai, har shaadi mein hota hai, tolerate kar lo, adjust kar lo. And the only thing I have to say is what I learned from this is why financial independence is important is because I was making my own money, but the fact still remains that despite my education, despite the fact that I was a modern working girl, I'd lived abroad, I'd studied abroad, I was working abroad, I'd got jobs abroad, and being a financially independent woman, even at that time 15 years ago, I've never asked anyone for money.
Even then?
Even then. Despite that, I put up with abuse for 5 years. I stayed married for 5 years to a man who was physically and emotionally and financially abusive. He cut up my credit card because on my 30th birthday, I bought myself an LV bag, which I'd saved up for 10 years for.
Your own money, by the way.
My own money. He cut off my credit card, and till today, I only buy LV bags because of that trauma. Because that's my reward to myself. So, you know, people make fun of me कि author झोला पहनो, lit fest में झोला लो. I said, no. I have gone through trauma to be able to buy this. I'm going to enjoy it because women need to learn that despite your education, despite your independence financially, emotionally, whatever way, despite your privileges, you can still be a victim of abuse like the 200 other million women in our country. 1 in every 3 women in India is a victim of domestic violence. So remember that if you are in an abusive situation, you can get out of it like I did. There is light at the end of that tunnel, and you have to reward yourself. And now I'm married to a wonderful guy, a lovely guy, and I have 2 beautiful baby daughters, and I'm enjoying it. But I'm not going to be belittled or reduced or diminished anymore because of my gender. And I'm just saying that I know women. I spoke about this in 2015. I wrote an article for Femina, I remember. And you know, Sonal, at that time women didn't speak about this. Domestic violence was like, you know, something that happened behind closed doors. It was like the floodgates of hell opened up. I got a call from a famous theatre actress who said her husband had thrown her out of a moving car. I got a message on FB, that time FB was very popular, of a dancer who said, my boyfriend broke my back, I can't dance anymore. But women were told silence, chup raho. But silence is the biggest violence against women. So we can't remain quiet.
You're right. But it's also not just happening abroad or in situations or in privileged women like all of us over here. Since my introduction to Mumbai has happened, so many women and, you know, our helps at home. And I keep hearing these stories on how they earn the money, they go back home, they are running the house, but still they're so subservient to men, you know, and they seek approval.
Or money and socioeconomic status will not save you from abuse. I know women who live in penthouses in Malabar Hill, slathered in diamonds, and they're putting up with abuse. But my domestic help was hit by her husband and she left him. Because not only did she know how to earn money, she knew how to save it, invest it like Malishka did, and also spend it like I am now. So I think women need to learn all 4 aspects of it, right? Of finances. Learn all 4 aspects, how to earn it.
Meghna for Prime Minister!
Vote! I want to just hop across to Anju because she's not here with us, but I want to go across and give her a word there. Anju, can I just ask a direct question? I'm very tempted to. Can you break down for us the pay gap between women sports personalities and men sports personalities? I'm not comparing everyone to Virat Kohli. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying generally, what is the pay gap today? Can you just educate us a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Happy Women's Day to all lovely ladies there over there and in our country. And as a sports person, I can tell you in some sports, there are some issues tennis. Actually, the pay what men used to get and women used to get was different. But luckily, in my sport, athletics, it was equal. So in every Grand Prix competition or the World Championships or the Olympics, all the remuneration from our country, it was equal for men and women. So there was no difference. And in women cricket also, actually, recently they came up with equal pay for men and women. I'm really extremely happy about that. And our athletes, they are earning really well and they are spending really well and they are actually living a healthy life and good life. So I'm proud for that. Actually, I'm able to witness that our women athletes are celebrated and celebrating. And see, in sports, normally our parents, what they are thinking, if you go to sport, that's the end of their career or they are spoiling their career. But I can tell you all, at very young age we can earn really well and we can live a good life, because sports is a very short span and very short life, and in that short life we can earn. If you are really good in sports, you can earn.
Yeah.
So
you can earn. That's a good message. Huh?
Yeah. So recently, a good thing happened in cricket also. So actually, they are also getting equal pay. I can say that. So now it's a equal thing in sports.
I stand corrected then. It is equal pay, but I was talking about perks, I was talking about fandom, I was talking about a lot of those things. And the thing is that, as we speak, the Women's Premier League is actually going on. But I was wondering how many people go to watch the Women's Premier League, and shouldn't we be taking a bit of, a thing there and saying that, boss, we've got to. Yeah.
We should
So
take the
we
initiative
can't
for that.
complain. We can't complain and say pay us as much as those women, those men cricketers or men sports stars are. The fact is they enjoy a bit of a fandom, and that's when sponsors come in. So how do we make this more lucrative? How do we take the initiative that we are supporting women in the right places as well? I think that's something to think about. But on that note, let me come to Aditi. Aditi, I want to understand from you, when did you ever have to ask for, or did you ever have the courage to ask for more money? And what happened then? I would have said salary increment, but then I realized in your thing, I mean, you're your own
Freelance.
boss.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
your
yeah.
own boss.
Yeah.
But how do you negotiate? Because I find that very hard for women to do.
You know, I just ask. I just ask. I also have, and I'm jokingly saying that I have an inflated sense of self-importance, of the level of talent that I bring to the table, of the intellect and the value that or the entertainment that I bring to the places that I enter for that purpose. And so I ask. I'm very shameless. I get turned down a lot, but I just ask. Because you know what, पूछने के पैसे नहीं जाते. That's what I realized.
So then I won't tell you at the end of this, she's going to come to you.
Oh God. My QR code be like, so
No budget, please, madam, please be
but
kind.
I always ask, and I think that in the current world that we live in, everyone actually starts at 20% more than what they actually think they deserve, and then they expect people to negotiate. Oh, sorry, ladies, everyone starts at 20% additional of what they deserve, and then they expect you to negotiate, or they expect to come back to you and be like, oh, we'll give you a number lesser than this.
Yeah.
Then you come back to them and you say,
You must be going through this. You always expect women to do everything for free for some reason.
so, you know, there's a lot, and in fact, ironically enough, on Women's Day, there's a lot of, they'll be like, oh my God, so it's Women's Day, huge fan, love your comedy, you're the best. And I'm like, stop it, I agree. And then they'll be like, oh, but also, this is a not-for-profit.
Yes.
And we
I'm
give
like,
you visibility.
And I'm like, I am for profit. I run a charity. Me. Therefore, I would like to be compensated adequately. And I do think that I, in fact, do more than my share of pro bono work. I'm almost like 4 times a month, I'll go out to a school or I'll go out to places where, I feel like they'll be like, oh, can you share your story? Can you come and do your comedy? So I do that enough. But I also then ask.
I agree with you, and I think this is where a bit of a highlight for India is happening. So we looked at statistics that came from WHO, UN, and all these these numbers sort of tell a very beautiful story. They talk about how women find it very hard to ask for an increment. But in India, that number is slightly sort of turning the curve, and Indian women are above the curve compared to the world, which is great, which is really nice.
Go on, ladies.
But do they actually get more by asking? I'm not so sure if that statistic has sort of come out just yet, which is what we should ask for.
May I add to that? So I have realized that whenever I'm hiring women, I delight in the fact that when they're like, that's my price, I'm like, yes. Because they're almost always shocked. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, just let's do it at that rate. I do think that actually there is a penalty for asking. There is a penalty, and I also do think that the lines of who asks for more as Indian women is also divided along caste and class. That it's easier for me to ask because I have like lesser to lose. You know what I'm saying? My rent is covered. I can eat. I have enough money for my 2 dogs. But I do think that there is a penalty for asking. That I think the world loves penalizing confident women. She thinks too much of herself and
She's too happy.
Tanvi, is that the case in your journey so far? Do you find it hard? Or there's this, we're all getting sensitizing ourselves to body positivity, right? We're all learning to embrace our body, me included. After my child, I had such a tough time to sort of just look at myself and smile. I had a really hard time, but we're all getting there thanks to women like you. So I just really want to say that everything that, like I said, representation is everything, right? But how does it work in your industry where it's largely led by women, but do you ask for raise? Are there some tricks, some tips you can share?
So we are also freelancers, right? But we have a different set of issues. So in our industry, it is largely led by women, straight-sized women. So that's a different issue altogether. So we fat creators really get underpaid. Like the same work that I'm doing, and probably some straight-sized creator who has lesser followers, that counts in our industry, the number. So who has lesser followers, who probably won't give the kind of quality that I will give, who probably won't give the kind of message that I will give, will still get paid much more than me. And initially though, for the first 5-6 years, fat creators weren't getting paid only. So we've just begun getting paid.
Oh, meaning you were told that it's such a privilege that you get to share
experience. You're getting to work with this brand. Yeah. You're getting to work with this brand. You're getting to learn so much. I'm like, I've learned. I know how to create content. You need to pay me. So it wasn't working, and then eventually I would lose out on that job. So then I had to sort of, this was my journey where I had to do work for like 5-6 years without getting paid.
Yeah, it's a gradual, it's a gradual curve and it's a journey over there.
You know, my favorite is the when they're like, you'll get exposure. I'm like, मैं exposure को चावल में मिला के खा नहीं सकती, तो मेरे को पैसे दे दो. I would love that.
But even female authors get that. Yeah, we get lower advances, we get lower royalties, we get fewer awards. So even the Booker Award, for example, has been given to only 1/3 of women. Some major literary awards in India have only, and this is not for lack of talent. This is sheer, literally, sort of patriarchy.
But is that because less women are writing, or
not at all? There's so many female writers, but we're just undermined. Like I've won more awards and had more books published than most male authors, but they'll still get a higher advance, and that's just something you're penalized for just because of your gender. But I've learned again to ask for what I deserve, and I've lost a lot of opportunities, but I'm like, I'd rather just be paid for my talent and my hard work and my time.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the most famous authors of all time, T.S. Eliot, was a woman, but had to give herself this sort of gender-neutral name.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling had to give herself
an androgynous name so that she could be mistaken for a male writer, and therefore she sold so many. A.L. James of 50 Shades of Grey took on an androgynous name because her publisher told her that if she writes as a woman, she will not sell as many copies. So when I entered publishing, they told me to publish as MD Pant. Meghna Pant, which is my actual name, because log samjhenge tum mard ho, you will sell more, because men buy books written by men.
What?
Women
people
also
who
buy
are looking
books
at author
written by
names and
men.
buying. I really don't understand. Who
I
are
am
these
now
people?
known as Aditya Mittal, so please reach out to me for...
Okay, you know, while all of us privileged women talk about stuff like that, I want to bring in another spectrum to this and just layer this conversation a little bit. A few days ago, I spoke with, I don't know if you guys know this woman called, her name is Yashoda, but she goes by the name of Dehati Madam. Okay, she's fabulous. I loved opening my show with her and she was really great. I'm going to request my producers to bring out that bite. I'm going to request my producers over there to bring out that bite. And I asked her that, aapne ye kab, and you know, you must listen to her answer, because I asked her that, aapne kab ghar walon ko bataya? Because she learned English on YouTube and now she teaches other women and other girls, etc. Listen to what she said.
पहले तो मैंने घर वालों को बताया नहीं था. जब मेरी फर्स्ट सैलरी आई थी मैंने उनको तभी बताया था कि हाँ भाई मैं ऐसा कुछ कर भी रही हूँ. अदरवाइज उस टाइम तो मेरा शेड्यूल था रात के 2:30 बजे 3:30 बजे उठने का. देन उस टाइप पे जो भी करना था करती थी. दिन के टाइम तो नहीं, बट अभी है, अभी दिन के टाइम सभी लोगों को सपोर्ट है. कहते हैं आपको जो करना है करो, कोई आपको रोकने वाला नहीं है. बट हाँ, जो घर की जिम्मेवारियां हैं वो तो उठानी है. अलॉन्ग विद दैट ये भी आप कंटिन्यू रखो, कोई रोकने वाला नहीं है.
क्या बात है. तो पहले छुप छुप के करते थे और अब जब सबने प्रेस करना शुरू कर दिया है तो अब आप सबको बता सकते हैं और प्राउडली बता सकते हैं कि आप क्या करते हैं. So that's what I'm saying. So she says that पहले छुप छुप के करना पड़ता था. रात के 2 बजे उठ के she was studying on YouTube. Can you imagine? And then when she got her first salary, then she said, I've earned it. Now everybody's saying, do more. So that's why I said it keeps circling back to financial independence, and that is the key. And like Malishka rightly said that it's, and actually Meghna said that it's not just about earning the money; it's knowing how to invest,
and save
and spend on LV bags or whatever. You have a new brand ambassador. You need to tell people if you're asking, if you're watching, please. And she will not come for free. She will not come for free. Okay, she'll tell a story, and you better pay her what she deserves. But on that note, I want to turn the conversation a little bit, and I want to talk about men in our lives, right? Men in our lives, and I'm not saying everybody has to be Twinkle Khanna and go out and say that they're just handbags. It could be for some their freedom, everything. I'm totally for lots of opinions, bouquet of opinions. That's what makes us, our society, really beautiful. But she said that we don't need men. They're like handbags. You can just hang them around if you want, and even if it was a plastic one wouldn't care. That works sometimes. It doesn't in some other cases. But what about your experiences with men? And I want to know: have you met men? Let me rephrase this a little bit, make it fun. Have you met men who have not been insecure of your success?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so great to know. I'm married to one. Hi, baby, I love you.
I'm married to one as well.
Good morning, baby.
Yeah.
Hi, baby. We love you. Welcome to Bombay, Mumbai.
No, I mean my brother Saurabh Pant. He's the biggest feminist I know. He's and my husband Sahil Kanuga. He's a lawyer. And he's very away from the media, but he's such a feminist. I mean, hardcore. And I'm my father, by the way. But I have to tell you, the biggest feminist I knew was my Nani ji, who didn't even know what the word feminist meant. She was not sent to school because patriarchy. And at the age of 35, she lost her husband. She wasn't working. She had 5 children to raise in Shimla. And hats off to her. Us zamane mein na, they used to hide gold bars behind walls. So her brother-in-law told her कि 4 लड़कियां थी, 1 लड़का था. लड़के को प्राइवेट स्कूल में भेजो शिमला में, बट लड़कियों को गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में भेजो. My Nani ji said nothing doing. She dug up that gold bar and she sent all her 5 children to the best schools in Shimla. My mother therefore retired as a chief commissioner of income tax from Bombay. Wow. She was a gold medalist at Punjab University. And I'm just saying, like, because of my Nani ji who didn't even know the meaning of feminism.
Knew how to save. हम में ही कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है. My mother also was saying
आटे का गोनी.
We have too much to buy. That's the problem in today's society. खरीदने को बहुत है.
Okay, no, but conversations, guys, men, and how does it happen? Single people over here? Single?
Since I'm dating.
Oh! Breaking news!
You don't get married, you're single.
Okay, fine, I'm single.
Malishka, do you find it hard? Somebody as opinionated, as outspoken, someone who says that, listen,
I think they mask it well. I think they mask it well. Okay, I want to put this out there. We love our men. I'm not in this space of, hey, we don't need them, we hate them. Sorry, can't. The world is made up of all of us, it has to be. And patriarchy, as we say, has affected everyone. And feminism has been weaponized. And I would really like to tell you कि ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि आप feminist नहीं है. इस वक्त अगर आप सुन रहे हैं, you are a feminist if you believe कि हमारी lives equal होनी चाहिए, हमें opportunities similar मिलनी चाहिए, आपको हमें रौंद के नहीं जाना चाहिए.
Choice होना चाहिए.
वही.
Choice होना चाहिए.
मैंने ना एक बहुत बड़े सुपरस्टार से बात की थी एक बार और मैंने उनको कहा था कि आप फेमिनिस्ट है. वो नाराज हो गए. मतलब he was a little bit like, he was like, no, don't call me that. And I was like, bro, सुपरस्टार. हाँ कौन नहीं नाम नहीं लेंगे. पागल है, सुपरस्टार है, समझा करो. Women's Day पर बंद थोड़ी. Come on, it's little deluded. No, sir, was little. It's okay. It's a different generation also, na. Superstar for different generation. So he was a little bit like. So I had to kind of educate him very slightly about what feminist means. And I think that is what people need to hear today as well. So let's not do this whole male bashing. I just feel like both genders, all genders need to understand each other better. हमारे साथ में काम करने से ही बात बनती है. जैसे हमारी नानी, like she was saying, नानी ने गोल्ड बार कहीं छुपाया था. औरतें आटे के डब्बे में, चावल के बोरे में, they're putting their monies in there. They're saving. They know they want to do better for the next generation. I had a caller the other day, and I decided at that point, Aditi, that we are going to start a podcast about like how women should be financially independent. It's the most important thing. If it isn't there, we have to do it. This lady called me and said, "Mere pati ne bola that she's going to give my son, who is in the 8th standard, a phone and not give the daughter until she reaches the 10th standard or something like that." So I was like, "Why? No, because she's a woman." अरे ये क्या बात हो गई? तो तुम क्यों नहीं कर सकती हो? मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है. हमने कैसे नहीं है? कमाती नहीं हूँ. She has her money. But it's स्वामी संपर्ण, वो क्या कर रहे, पता नहीं क्यों कर रहे. रखो यार अपने पैसे. The most important thing you will do for yourself is save your money, invest your money, find ways. Otherwise, you know, it's over for you. And there are enough men who will understand this. I think the way the system works, it's not even men, it's the system works, is telling men you are this and she is that. Now, if you ask me, life ka, whether Big Gyani said it or no, I always believe life ka whole purpose is kya behan? Evolution है. बढ़ो, तन से बढ़ो, मन से बढ़ो, spiritually बढ़ो. बढ़ो मतलब.
Oh, Malishka, madam.
राधे माँ,
Sadhguru said it, but I had said it before. I was like, ये बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं. मैं भी ऐसे. But it is. So evolve, and when you evolve, that means you think of like what is going on in the world. और तो कैसे treat किया जा रहा है. आपके खुद के घर में आपकी बहनें हैं, माएँ हैं, बीवी हैं. Grow from there. Jealous नहीं होने का. साथ में बढ़ो. आजकल dinks, double income, no kids. चलो kids भी रख लो. रखो अपने बच्चों को. पर देखो, मेघना की तरफ देखो. कितना हंसी खुशी जिंदगी गुजार रही है when you treat your women well.
So what is, long story short of what Malishka is trying to say over here?
She's woman-splaining.
No. Long story short of what she's trying to say is that, there's a very famous quote which says, you had to leave your crown in the garage and then enter the home, and women have to do the balancing act, which is great. And which is what Yashoda also from the Hathi madam said to us, right? She said कि मेरे को वो भी करने का है, मेरे को ये भी करने का है, सब करने का है, and women can. Right? But this balancing act is hard, and I think the next step towards this is that we've got to increase participation at home. It cannot be only a woman's job to be doing this, right? But Aditi, very quiet here. I'm getting worried. I don't know what jokes.
No, we let each other speak.
I'm worried.
दिया तुम लोग मेरे को आते आते कि ये मत बोलो, वो मत बोलो, कुछ मत करो. फिर मैं अपना पूरा मेकअप लगा के इतना सुंदर बैठ रही हूँ. Suddenly now I'm very quiet.
Very pretty, Aditi.
Thank you.
Look pretty, don't
Which
speak.
is, see, I'm so glad she said thank you, because that's another thing with women. We don't know how to take compliments.
You haven't complimented the rest of us yet.
Oh God. I think this entire panel, I think the show is looking gorgeous today. I think it's meaningful. I think it's meaningful, it's beautiful, and it is just what you need to start your day, right?
No, I'm thinking of Kareena Kapoor. She owned herself in that movie as Pooh. मैं अपनी सबसे बड़ी biggest fan हूँ, and I think we need to tell ourselves, remind ourselves of that every day.
So Pooh is an insufferable character. Like
I love Pooh.
I'm going on record.
मैं अपनी
It's
favorite
Jab
हूँ.
we met. It's Geet.
Geet is.
But it was Kareena, you're right.
And I love that. I love that for all women everywhere. She did it like 15 years ago, and I think it still carries forward.